Hello, this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show, broadcasting on Radio Debang, the premier Bollywood network, broadcasting into North America from Karachi, Mumbai, New Delhi, and also into Fort Bend County, Texas. We have to ask the question if the men who, the local bureaucrats, the men who run our local offices, if it is their ideas and their philosophies that are largely setting the environment in which we live. We're in the midst of watching our cities decay, our cities die on a vine. And we have to ask the question if it is our locally elected officials that are the reason that our cities are dying. Because what they do is they constantly keep the finger pointed at you. They call you names. They say you're ignorant, you're this, that, and the other, while they maintain their positions of hierarchy and our cities continue to decline. So it's time for us to ask the question, is it us or is it them? And we have to ask the question, is it time to be somewhat accusatory towards them like they've been towards us for a lifetime? And with that being said, there is one political official more than any other that sets the standard for crime and safety in the city, and that in the county. And that is the county sheriff. The county sheriff plays the greatest role in providing a safe environment for our cities and towns in the county, because the county sheriff is the only directly elected police official in existence. He is directly elected by the people. No other police official is directly elected by the people. The police chief, the city police chief, is a mayoral appointment, and as such, it's more of a political position. The police chief is more inclined to be loyal to the mayor who appoints him. But the county sheriff is elected by the people, and as such, he has an intimate relationship with the people, and he has a direct responsibility more than anyone else to keep our county safe. And so we have to ask the question, if our county sheriff has political opinions that are not in line with law and order, that are not in line with good standards, is that contributing to the decay of our cities? Well, we're going to ask that right now. We're going to ask that with regards to Ed Hernandez, the county sheriff for Harris County. And I'm going to ask you if his political opinions are the reason that our city is declining. We're going to go through them, okay? And then you decide whether or not Ed Hernandez is the reason that the city of Houston is having increasing crime by the day. And the first thing we're going to look at is the topic of immigration. And the truth is that a country needs a strong external border, a formidable border on the exterior to keep us safe on the inside, to keep us safe from external threats. And as we know, largely under the previous Joe Biden administration, our border has been wide open, and we have seen criminal activity flow over our border into our cities in large numbers. And to give you an idea, in the city of Chicago, the cartels have basically sent an infantry of soldiers up there. They have the equivalent of a considerable army in the city of Chicago. And so we have to ask the question, if a sheriff has an opinion on a strong border, is that good or bad? Well, Ed Hernandez is largely a critic of a strong border. So while our cities are declining, he is not taking a strong position for border security. Is that maybe one reason why our cities are not getting any? Our city of Houston is not getting healthier. Now we got to look at bail reform. And bail reform is this concept brought to us by George Soros and by the leftist Democrats, brought to them by their globalist masters, and the entire idea is to let criminals back out on the streets. And we had a woman here, the district attorney, Kim Ogg, and she is a Democrat, and she fought hard against the Democrats against bail reform. And what they did is they did essentially the equivalent of a political execution on her, and she got beat in a primary. And so with regard to that, regarding bail reform, Ed Gonzalez is a large critic of bail reform. He's a large proponent of letting hardened criminals back on the street. I'm reading here. Gonzalez proposed that bail be waived, quote, for many of the 8,000 inmates in the Harris County jail. Okay? So Does that sound like the opinion of a county sheriff that would be a good county sheriff or not? That's the question for you to decide. And finally, on the issue of constitutional carry, right? And the truth is, for us to have a safe society, police are secondary. You are primary, because there's always a lag time. There's always a response time before police can get to you when you're in a bad way. And as a result of that, every person needs to be able to defend themselves. And as such, a strong push came for the Second Amendment to bring our Second Amendment back. And one initiative in that was the constitutional carry laws. And Ed Hernandez was largely an opponent of constitutional carry. So we have to ask the question: are these opinions where he sort of has a leftist position at the critical issues that affect safety in the city? Is that a healthy position for a county sheriff to have? And is it his personal opinions that are causing our city to decline? That is for you to decide. And with that being said, we'll go over all those topics today. This is the Chris Heasley Show, and on this show, we will bring you all the ideas, the content, the information that you need to take back your city, your village, your borough, your township, your school district, our counties, our great Texas counties, and our state, the great state of Texas. But there's an obligation that comes with the show, and the obligation is on you to get involved at the local, because change only happens at the local level. And today, we will be talking everything local. We will be talking everything about crime and safety in Harris County. And we have two incredible guests today in our studio. We have here today with us Alexandria Hamilton. Alexandria,
Butler.
How are you doing? Oh, goodness. Alexandria Butler, I apologize. How are you doing?
Alexander Hamilton.
I'm in the middle. I swear to goodness, I am right now studying Alexander Hamilton so much right now. So I had a mind miss there. I apologize.
love it. Okay.
But
that's all good.
I just equated you with one of the founding fathers, so I guess that's okay, right?
I know. I must be. It must be the hair, maybe a little poofiness
There you
today.
go.
I don't know.
There you go.
I got my powdered wig on today, so.
I would like to say that your congressional candidacy is gaining steam. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We're gaining a lot of momentum. God has really done a number. I mean, we're being blessed. My name's getting out there a lot more. I can't even really see who my other opponents are. I got the opportunity to meet Al Green last Friday, which was pretty interesting. He snatched his hand out of my hand as I told him that I was his opponent in District 9. He didn't like that too much. So, we're doing pretty good.
It's only going to get more tense, so it's going to be good.
I like it.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. And we also have in the studio Joe Danna. Did I get your name right?
You certainly did.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Good
Chris.
deal. Well, Joe, you have a very interesting career. You're a long Houstonian, long resident of Harris County, lifelong, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, yes. And you have a very interesting career. You started your career off not in the field of police, but rather in the field of small businesses. You had a photo business. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Oh,
26 years.
Very-
Quality Photo Inc.
And then you made a transition from that into the public office and to the constable sheriff's office, and you had quite a career in that area as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. 32 years in law enforcement here in Harris County.
Wow. Excellent. Very good. Well, this show is all about crime and safety in Harris County, and we have two incredible guests here. So I want to hear all about it. And the first question I have for you, Joe, is tell us why you're running for Harris County Sheriff.
There's a lot of reasons, but the main two reasons, I made a commitment after the 2020 election, a commitment and a promise, and I keep both of those. I keep my commitments and I keep my promises, that I would not run away from the 4,000 or 5,000 currently employees of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. They need a true law enforcement officer. They do not need a sheriff that doesn't understand his job.
Right.
His job, first of all, is not about him. It's about the 4,500 to 5,000 employees. And that's exactly the commitment I made to these men and women and the K-9 units, that I'm not going to leave. Matter of fact, after the 2020 election, I was in Mattress Mac's shop, Gallery Furniture, and he saw me and he said, "Hey, Joe Danna, you going to run again in 2024? I said, "Mac, I'm going to run for sheriff until I win or until I die." And he got all excited, Joe Danna. So that's why I'm here now. 8 years later, I ran twice. Maybe the third time is a charm. And I'm ready and I'm prepared. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good. And when you say you're here to sort of support our police employees, our police department staff and officers. Why do you say that? What is the issue regarding our Harris County? What is the state of our Harris County Sheriff's Department today?
Not good. Not good at all, Chris. It's shambles. They need a whole lot of help. They need a whole lot of changes, okay? Very first thing they need is an organizational chart. And if any of you have time to go to the website, Danna, D-A-N-N-A, for sheriff.com, you can see the organizational chart that I've created. It took me a year and a half to create it. I utilize Ron Hickman, the former sheriff, the current sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, and two very large sheriff departments, one in Florida and one in California, LA Sheriff's Department. And we massaged them. Took me a year and a half. But we have an organizational chart, which is the foundation of any business and certainly a law enforcement agency, the third largest in the country, Harris County Sheriff's Office. It's an effective organizational plan. It's very effective. And that's the very first step we're going to do. We have a lot of plans. We have a lot of good ideas, and they're all based on common sense. Common sense. Law enforcement has lost that. Hell, the government's lost that, but they've lost that. Those two words, common sense. So anyway, the foundation, the organizational chart is the foundation, and that's the very first step we're going to take care of. Another thing we're going to do very, very quickly is the reserve program. The Harris County Sheriff's Office used to have 500 to 600 reserves. Reserves are deputies, men and women, that are not paid. They're full-time, they're peace officers. They can do the same thing as the paid deputies and sheriffs and captains. We're going to, right now, currently in 2025, there's 88. It's gone from 600 to 700 to 88. It doesn't cost the county a dime. This is ridiculous that what they've done to that division. But anyway, we're going to increase that. We're going to increase it back to 500 or 600. I could sign.
That's reserved officers. Is that what you're saying?
Reserve officers. Yep. They call TCO calls them volunteers now, but you can call them reserves.
So they're sort of like non-salaried. They're just on call whenever and at a moment's notice when they're needed.
Right. That's right. And there's so many opportunities for reserve deputies.
Yeah.
You get complaints in a school zone. You get out and you write tickets. They can go talk to juveniles. They can talk to schools. They can talk to teachers. This HOT team that the Sheriff's Department has now, the HOT team for homeless, that's all done right now with actually a smoke and mirror. It's dog and pony, but and it's a good program. But it doesn't need to be run by paid deputies. Right. You send the reserves out there. Right. There's a big demand out there, with homeless. Everyone knows that. And they need a lot of help. Yes. And when we build this reserve program division back up to 400 or 500, we'll have them all over the streets helping these homeless individuals. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it all starts with common sense. And I have some great ideas according to current sheriff's deputies, captains, majors, and also thousands, hundreds of others. So that's the game plan, and I'm ready to go and prepared to lead this thing.
I think that's an incredible idea. Like incredible. We're having a little rigging of the system here. But Alexandra, tell me what you think the state of crime and safety is in Harris County right now.
Where do I begin? Well, I think any of us can take a look and observe and see in Harris County that crime has certainly taken an uptick over these past few years, especially since COVID. I mean, since COVID, if we just kind of gear everything from there, when everything kind of changed into this new normal, we can see that people in their mental distress, I don't know if it's a combination of being inside, of fear, of the media, all of these things kind of creating this recipe and this environment of chaos where people have completely lost a lack of civility. And so it's gotten to where it's very dangerous. You can't even go to the grocery store. You can't pump your gas without somebody approaching you. As a woman in the city, I make sure to keep my doors locked now. Coming from a smaller town originally where we didn't really worry about locking doors, like living in a bigger city, I definitely see the difference. You're concerned. I mean, me as a woman, I'm concerned. I've been followed before. I've seen people, just staring at me, and that makes you very uncomfortable when you're going into places. So knowing that there's not as many officers, that morale is a little lower than it was before, that actually doesn't make me feel any safer as a resident. I'm sure anybody listening, that doesn't make them feel safe at all. But I know for me personally, just observing that, it created a desire within me to want to do something more for the community, because I see that, that there's children that are being killed in their beds. We see that there are drive-by shootings that are still happening in very close-knit communities. We see that people are being shot mistakenly, children dying in their beds. I read a story about a child dying on their way to the playground the other day through a bullet. I mean, bullets don't have any names on them. And so that actually, seeing that story right there, it burdened my heart so much, because I don't think that we should be losing our children in this manner to somebody shooting a weapon from their car into a house meant for somebody else, or walking up on a crowd of individuals, spraying gunfire, into a crowd of people. I think this is something that I think at the federal level can be addressed, just on that in particular, with these wild bullets being shot, people being killed, gunned down, road rage incidents, that would be included. But I propose a drive-by bill in which anybody that is involved with the shooting into an unoccupied or occupied dwelling from a vehicle, even if they step outside of their vehicle, any type of a mass shooting in a commercialized or residential dwelling place or building, that should be punished to the highest extent of the law. I think it's like a one strike, you're out. I'd rather lose a criminal than a child. I'd rather lose a criminal than another of our innocent uncles, aunts, anybody out here walking down the street. I think that with that, I think it should be a capital punishment. I think these individuals are terrorists.
I mean, in my opening monologue, I listed the foundational issues of the county sheriff.
Yes.
Go look up his wiki page. These are the things that he stumps on.
Yes.
He stumps on, I'm going to go over them again. He stumps on, he is an opponent of immigration control, of a strong border.
Absolutely.
Okay? So again, while the cartels are sending armies of men in, infantries in,
Yes.
Into our cities.
Yes.
He is not a strong advocate of securing our border,
No.
of working with ICE to fix that.
Right.
So that's a criminal element.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then you have him, and he's also for letting these hardened criminals out through bail reform.
Right.
Right. Kim Ogg went down because she was trying to get the criminals back in jail. She went
Absolutely.
down because she crossed over the line and questioned a Democrat prime objective.
Absolutely.
Right. But Ed
have
Hernandez,
to
Ed right, is not on the right spot on that issue. Then
Absolutely.
finally, constitutional carry. Like, who is not? You're in this street. You're in these cities.
Right.
All these young women, small women out there,
Yes.
with these criminals everywhere, and,
Yes.
and they're not supposed to have a gun on them.
Right.
So isn't that the reason it's the ideas that are being implemented, the philosophical ideas of our county establishment, which is all Democrat run, that's the reason that our cities are dying. What do you guys think?
Democrats don't care about the citizens, period. Because if they did, then they would be tougher on crime and not tougher on the citizens. They want to put rules and regulations on the citizens, whether it's carrying a weapon, to defend yourself. Good people should carry guns. Absolutely, because it's good people that are going to protect people from harm when the time arises. Now, when you put all of these rules on the citizens, we're going to follow those rules, but the bad guys aren't going to follow these rules. They're going to be out here carrying a gun anyway. If you say no AR-15s, then they're going to still carry the AR-15. When you tell us no, they're going to still take it as a yes. They're defiant. They are not civilized. So who's going to protect us against the bad guys? Who's going to protect us at all? We can't protect ourselves. They have disarmed us. And I think it's part of a deeper and a bigger plan for the Democrats to destabilize this nation and further bring in some sort of bondage through whatever this fake utopia is that they want to bring in the future. This idea that nobody has guns, you don't own anything, we let everybody out, we're all singing Kumbaya, but the reality is greed exists. You know, there's still sin that exists in this world. People are going to people. You know, human nature exists. So you can't sit here and say, okay, well, we're going to disarm you. Everybody won't be disarmed. The bad guys are still going to have weapons.
Right.
What do you do?
Right. So, Joe, you served for a long time as county constable. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Tell us how long you served in that role and what your experience was in that position.
That's where I began. I served there for 20 years, nearly 20 years, Precinct 1, Harris County Constable. I worked in every division that they had. Most guys, I was assigned to the civil division, deputies that went out and served divorce papers and eviction notices, which has gotten real popular lately. But when I got my papers done, I didn't go home. Asked supervisors to send me to other divisions so I can learn and educate myself in law enforcement, and that's what I did. I'm the only civil deputy there that worked in every division and that actually served a search warrant. When the office found out Joe Danna's got a search warrant, that goes to show you what kind of character I was. The constable, Jack Abercia, he put me in charge of the HIADA, that's the Houston Independent Auto Dealers. TxDOT, the state of Texas, TxDOT used to call me with complaints in Harris County, and he allowed me to go investigate that and take care of it. All over the county, there's 8 precincts in Harris County. I work for one. Number 1 is the largest densely populated, which is back then was about 900,000, nearly 1 million folks out of the 8. Anytime they called anywhere, any of the precincts, TxDOT, they would always say, call Deputy Joe Danna. So, and like I said, I worked at every division. Back then, they only had one division, mental division. They would get mental warrants when folks would file a mental warrant. They'd call Precinct 1, and I worked there too. I worked every one of them. I worked all aspects of Precinct 1. I got all the experience I could. After 20 years, I decided to run for that office. That was 2012. I won second place. As I tell folks, I never lose. I didn't win first, and I ran again 4 years later. And I've ran for the Sheriff's Department twice, in 2020 and in 2024. So here I am today, and I appreciate you having me on the show, Chris. I didn't tell you that.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show. I've known you for as long as I've lived in Houston. I've seen your signs around. I've known of you, not known you personally. And so, do you have in the county sheriff race? You have to win a primary first. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and how competitive is the primary? You're in a primary right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, how competitive
Well, no, the
is
primary starts in March.
Okay.
So we're not there yet.
Okay, do you have any idea how competitive that's going to be?
I don't think it's going to be that competitive. Mm-hmm. Okay, after running in the 2020 election and the 2024 election, I don't believe it is. I certainly hope not. The first year, 2020, we received nearly 700,000 votes. That's a lot of votes for someone to see that name Danna or a Republican candidate. In the 2024, we won second place again. So here we are, going to do it again. Whenever the election might be, the schedule.
You won second in the general or the primary?
What's that?
You won second in the general or the primary?
Both. Well, no, I'm sorry. The primary, we won the primary.
Okay.
We didn't win in the general in November.
And
second
how
place.
close was it?
47 to like 53%.
Wow.
Relatively close.
What year was that?
2020.
That's incredible.
Very close. I was told by all these political experts that, Joe, you better get your ducks in a row because you're going to win this election. I said, why is that? They said, because this is the first year Texas will have a non-straight party ticket voting. And they said their advice was the Democrats are going to go to the polls. They're going to vote for the president and 2 or 3 of well-known senators or congressmen, and they're going to go home. Well, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. So we won second place. But I'm not a quitter, and like I said earlier, I made a commitment and a promise, and I'm here to the bitter end, just like I told Mattress Mac.
I mean, that's an incredible accomplishment. So then that sort of gives us an idea that, yeah, there's a lot of confidence that you can have going into this. Or let me ask you this. I laid out what I think about Ed Hernandez. What do you think about Ed Hernandez as sheriff?
Ed Gonzalez.
Ed Gonzalez.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm getting all the names wrong tonight. I apologize.
Ed's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. Talked to him many times. But He's a politician. And I think most people will realize that. The results of our streets, of our crime, as you mentioned, the first two, when you first opened here, the two constitutional laws are not being followed at all.
right.
The border, the immigrants, and the gun, Second Amendment. You know, there's a certain group out there, they talk about handgun violence. They talk about gun laws. We need more gun laws. Well, my opinion is gun laws is not going to help the good guys.
Right.
Not going to, because the bad guys don't care.
They don't
It's a waste of time,
Yes, it
just
is.
like you said, Ms. Butler. And gun control, we got our county and I believe our city buying guns
Yes.
with our tax dollars.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
So what they do, they go out and rob banks, they go out and shoot people, and they give the evidence to the county,
Yep.
and they get money for it.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Gun control starts right here, the trigger finger.
Right.
That's gun control. We don't need laws. We need help with the mentally ill.
Murder is still
It's-
illegal.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, so why don't we kind of push that and say, hey, a reminder,
Well-
let's stop killing each other.
Yeah,
How about that? You know, you can kill somebody with a knife. You can kill somebody with your bare hands or a gun. How about we just not kill anymore?
That's right. Well, we have such a problem with mental illness.
That's
a lot of
that's
it
a
goes
huge
back
issue.
to that. I've got figures that indicate in prison,
Yes.
they interview these folks, and 40 to 50% of them were on drugs
Absolutely.
when they committed the crime.
the commission of-
it's
yeah.
just, and the county is not, in the city, they're not putting money toward that. They're not doing it in the right way.
You know, I think because I know we didn't really talk about this earlier, but recently, and I was reading Trump's executive order regarding the homeless situation and the mental health crisis that we're having in this country. And in a roundabout way, it's like we're bringing back sanitariums. And I don't think that's a bad thing, right? Because these people are roaming the street. They're roaming the street. There's things going on inside their head. We have no idea what's going on, where they've come from. They appear from another town, another location. They come out, they attack regular citizens, civilized Americans, and we can't have that. And so this proposal is that these individuals, when they're becoming a threat to themselves or other people, they are locked up. Not in jail, but they are locked up in some sort of a mental facility. And Trump is also wanting to build more mental health facilities, long-term care facilities, not outpatient, definitely inpatient. And so he's wanting them, I think, first issue, they get locked in or is some sort of required, I think it's 30 to 45 days required, like they'll be observed. Doctors will look in on them, determine if they're, I think it takes like a year or two for them to come back out into society. I actually agree with this that he signed, because what else are we going to do? We can say, okay, train police. That's not right, to train police to determine who's mentally deficient or not. That's not their job, okay? If some lunatic with a gun is shooting at the cop, he can shoot back at them, period. I mean, oh, are you schizophrenic? Maybe you're schizophrenic. I should help you. That's not the cop has to get home to his family that night. No, that's not his job to determine that out in the field. So that Trump has put forth, I think it's a great idea for our country right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great idea for the short term, but
Right.
generally speaking, for the long term, we
Right.
need to fix the moral foundations of the country.
That part.
We need to bring back the family unit, and we need to restore the economy, all of which are the result of the ruination of these concepts, the ruination of the family, of the economy, of our moral foundations, is all a result of the leftist agenda being placed on our people.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, I mean, I don't think that there was in the 1920s that there were actually 1970s when I grew up, there wasn't this homeless problem that there is today. And yeah, these people, they go homeless. They've had, this world is really cruel right now.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people go homeless because of it. And when they go homeless, I think a lot of them, their mental growth stunts.
Yes.
And it just gets worse. So if we
Yes.
can fix those foundations of the country, it's not right to put all this on the shoulders of our police either.
Right. It's not.
It's
fair.
like we all have to take a role in this. That's my 2 cents. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's starting though, Chris. Like, like these little things that people are complaining about, like the biggest complaint today, I heard everybody's complaining about their SNAP benefits. You can only buy supplemental nutritional food now. Oh my goodness. That's actually what SNAP means, is that you're only supposed to be able to buy this. Well, I think it starts with that, and we can't really see it, but let me bring it home. When people are less codependent on the government, it produces a stronger individual, right? So now it's like, I can't buy all this junk. I'm actually gonna have to get off my duff and buy my kids these special things that I was buying for them freely before on the backs of other people, right? So now I have to get up and do something. When people have to start getting up and they can no longer be codependent, you won't see this anymore on as large a scale. You'll see people getting up, pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps. Whereas now it's like, well, I don't have to do anything. I can just be a loser. I can go live on the street. I can go live in Skid Row. And guess what? They're going to come down here, give me syringes. They're going to come down here, give me hygiene products. They're going to come down here. They're going to take care of me if I choose to do nothing. Well, when we stop doing that, and it seems mean, but tough love is necessary to build strong characters and to put us back in what you were saying, that more wholesome aspect of a course for our nation, because this soul that they've been battling for the soul of our nation, and they almost won. The left almost won. They literally have gotten us to the place where there is a demonic power and presence that has taken over our country, to the point where people don't know if up is down and down is up. Wrong has become right and right has become wrong. And if you call a man, clearly a man, 5 o'clock shadow, a man, then he's a ma'am, okay? You can lose your job. Where have we've gotten to a place where we have to say, stop.
Yeah.
Hold your horses.
I think all the ideas.
It's time to get back to these ideals like the 70s, like even the 80s when I grew up. I mean, I don't understand what's become of America. I have no idea. We used to, everybody smoked cigarettes everywhere, but there wasn't this issue that we're having with this lack of civility in our country.
Yeah.
It just didn't exist like this.
Yep.
It's changed.
Joe, I want to ask you, what is the, how many employees does the Harris County Sheriff's Department employ?
Today, I'm going to guesstimate at 3,000.
3,000 total employees?
Yeah.
And how many of those are officers?
Yeah, sworn officers?
Yeah, it's meaning sheriffs on the street.
Well, that's what on the street, you're probably got about 1,500. You got 2,500 in the jail. 10,000 inmates.
Well, you just made Alexandra's point that it's the moral foundations of our society is crumbling, and all these people are going to jail. Thus, we have to have all of our police officers in policing the jails.
Right. We have more in the jails housing people, than we do on the streets.
Patrolling.
And we need more patrol.
Oh, there's a huge shortage. Huge.
Okay, tell us about the shortage. What's the shortage like?
That's a tough number. It's a little ambiguous in my opinion. People say, hey, Joe, how many officers you need out there? I always say, you put a deputy in every household out there, and it wouldn't matter. They're going to drink your coffee and eat your donuts until you take care of the morale.
Right.
If you don't take care of these folks, they don't care.
Right.
They know they're working for a politician. You have to have their back. When they get in trouble, you have to have their back. The morale is the number one problem out there, I'm telling you,
I agree.
in patrol. The 1,500, it's happening for years. Been happening for years.
I agree.
I know the sheriff has dropped people into grease over dog and pony show. That something hits the news, you're fired.
Yep.
Something else hits the news. It's ridiculous.
I've seen that.
That's not how you run an effective sheriff's office. Look at some of the big ones, like in L.A. They don't do that.
No, not at all.
It's nuts. So they need a lot of help.
So morale's down, numbers are down, and we also have an abundance of our officers not on the street, but rather in the prisons.
And work in the jail. Yeah, they got 4 jails down there, and they're filled up.
I hate to bring race up like this, but I watched something the other day. I watched, it was a traffic stop. Somebody was recording it with their camera. It was local. It was Houston. And this man, it was the criminal. It was somebody that was getting ready to get arrested. But he's telling the officer happened to be a white guy. He's telling him, you've been looking at me because I'm black. And that officer, I detected a hint of fear in his response. And like, he didn't want to be too harsh with this guy. He didn't want to actually really arrest him. He was trying to be cool with the guy. And I could see it was because of what that man actually said. And so I think in some of these situations where, you know, a lot of crimes are going unsolved and things like that, I think there's some racial issues in the sense that maybe some officers are afraid to arrest a black person for fear that, you know, I can't tase them, I can't do this because there's going to be such a huge backlash in the media because, like you said, he's dipped people in grease for this getting out, this leaking into the media, you know. That could be an issue. And I sat and watched this guy do that, and I'm like, you know, you're the officer. You're the one in authority, not this guy. Take the authority and put this guy in cuffs.
The war on our police is one more component of the war on America.
Yes.
If you can break down our policing units, then you can remove all of our protections.
They have no authority.
And we're vulnerable, right? Mm-hmm. And so what happens is that, of course, we have a small, minute percentage of officers that are not good.
Right.
And what the media and even what gets viral is sort of an obsession on those instances where officers act inappropriately. Right. And so, you know, an officer's not going to want to make any sort of a commotion or of a display because he doesn't want to find him all of a sudden at the center of some viral video.
Right. And that's so sad because they should be able to do their job. What has happened with this defund the police and all this foolishness surrounding all this, they have removed the teeth from our law enforcement. So people are no longer afraid. They're not afraid. So it's like when the police show up, they're like, and keep on doing what they're doing. And it's like, you guys don't sense that there's authority here? No, they don't. They feel they are the authority. They have the upper hand because all they have to do is say, hey, look, they did it because I was black. You know, and then all of a sudden you're bungling up in the court system and you've got appeals and you've got this going on and it's just slowing down the process. And then we've got a huge backlog
and
already.
Officers can lose their qualified immunity.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what they're going for. I just, this whole thing, it is to destroy our country from the inside out. And they start in urban cities like Houston, because when you can destroy a city like Houston, you can destroy any other city in this country.
Well, okay. So obviously, you know, that was the entire premise of my opening monologue.
Yes.
That is the Democrat Party that is the reason that our cities are being hollowed out, the reason that we're getting a rotten core. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we see a huge movement against Democrats, right? Joe almost took out the Harris County Sheriff 5 years ago, in a general election.
Yes.
That wasn't possible 4 years prior to that. That's a massive milestone.
Yes.
And so the question is, is it possible to heal our cities?
Yes.
Is it possible to do what?
To heal our city.
Oh, yes. Yes. You get the right leaders in there, and you can heal them.
I agree.
You can reduce all of this. Like I said earlier, the sheriff needs to understand this job is not about him. Right. It's about the employees. If you don't take care of the employees, they are not going to take care of the residents. Well, I hear 6 and 7 million residents of Harris County now. Mm-hmm. They have to, but the sheriff department has to earn respect amongst themselves first. There's so much animosity going on there, the public has no clue. Supervision by intimidation runs rapid. Everything goes to IAD, internal affairs, simple traffic stops. Somebody complains, and it goes straight to IAD, and IAD keeps it for months and months, sometimes years. It's ridiculous. The sergeants on the street in the district needs to take care of complaints like that. And they just don't do it. Nobody, as you alluded to earlier, they don't want to make decisions. They don't want to make, even the sergeants and lieutenants, they don't want to make a decision for the same reason the deputies don't. They're going to get in trouble. They need a job. They all got families. So, but as I mentioned earlier, you get a sheriff in there that has their back, and the guys that know me and the girls that know me there, they know I'm going to have their back. Okay? That's what they need. That's exactly what they're missing.
I got a question for you. So you're obviously a threat and a problem to the Democrat Party, and they cannot let that position go. You know, right now there are 2 top law enforcement officers in Harris County, and it's the district attorney who's a Democrat, and it's the county sheriff that's a Democrat. And there's no check and balance system today. But if one of them's a Republican, all of a sudden there's a check and balance system in place, and they don't like that. And so there is going to be some wild card. You are a legit contender
Yes.
to win this thing.
Absolutely.
There is going to be some wild card that they pull out of their hand to take you out. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to be, but I expect a curveball. What do you think?
Well, that may be true, but I'll defer back to God's plan.
Come on.
God has a plan for me.
Yes.
I have to do my due diligence, and God knows I've done my due diligence, and I'm continuing to do it. People ask me all the time, as you mentioned, how are you going to win this in a Democratic county? Well, winning is not up to me, I think. It's up to him. It's his plan. But I'm doing everything possible to get my name out there and address all these issues and share my heart about what needs to be done out here to reduce the crime. And that's what I'm going to do. People on social media, I'll get remarks, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? Well, my answer's always the same, Chris. I am a law enforcement officer conservative, okay? I'm a conservative law enforcement officer. I don't pick parties. Democrats need us, we'll be out there. Republicans need us, we'll be out there. So I don't get into the political realm as some do, because I'm just a middle of the ground concern. I'm worried about your neighborhood. I want to clean up your neighborhood.
Yes.
I want to clean up the crime. We need a lot of help from these judges that are releasing these subjects out back, from jail. That's
Absolutely.
a huge problem.
Ooh.
And now the jail, they're shipping inmates out, costing the county money. Yes. But that's not the sheriff's job. That's the county commissioners.
Yes.
They need to look into that because they're wasting a whole lot of money doing that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You are about law and order. That's what you know. You're not going to go outside of that lane. I get it. But at the same time, in Fort Bend County, Marshall Slott, who was the Republican conservative candidate for sheriff, was winning that race the entire time. And in Joe Biden style, at the last minute, Eric Fagan wins with a last minute dump. A last minute dump, right? Boop, takes him up over the top. We go to bed thinking Marshall Slott's the sheriff, and we wake up and Eric Fagan is. And I don't think anybody believes that result. And so I hope that your team is prepared for those kind of situations, because ultimately, election integrity has to happen, because if not, there's no way it goes the right way it should, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're exactly right.
We know that they play dirty, the left. We are, I think, aware of that. We can see that the tide is changing and God is in control. And, I like that you deferred back to the Lord like that, because when you asked earlier, Chris, if Harris County can be healed, immediately that scripture popped in my head. If my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, seek my face, then will I heal their land. I mean, I didn't quote it verbatim, but it goes along something like that. So, I think that there is a tide of people that are kind of like, if you look at like after 9/11, a lot of people turned towards the Lord. There was a large revival that happened where people were turning back towards God again. And I think we're in a place where people are crying out to God once more and saying, help us. We don't know what to do. We're at the end of ourselves now. And so I think these little antics that the left has pulled before, the cheating and all that stuff, they could get away with that before. But eyes are opening up so much now, and people are starting to see the left for what it is, so much so that it's like the curtain's getting ready to be pulled back, and you're going to see who's really behind it. We're probably going to see Lucifer, but
I mean, the camaraderie that I see on the streets, the solidarity, the kindness, the manners, the politeness,
Yes.
everything that I see between fellow citizens of all different races,
All of them.
religions, everything is just an incredible time.
Yes.
People are really coming together, and I
can
think
see
it's
it.
because we've been under assault by the leftist machine for more than a decade.
The beast.
Yep. Yep. Well, Alexandria, I want to ask you.
Yes.
You are also in a contentious battle for a congressional position.
Absolutely.
And what is the state of your campaign?
Well, right now we're dealing with this redistricting. That's I know we didn't really come to talk about that today, but I just find it interesting.
It's okay. We can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
We covered crime and safety for 50 minutes. So.
Okay. So when I entered the race, I had a lot of Republicans, not Democrats, but Republicans. Oh, you're never going to win. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. in my mind, I'm thinking, Al Green went uncontested. Nobody had the gall to run against this guy. And so now when I enter the race, now I've got Republicans telling me, don't run. It's just give up. The Republican Party's not going to support you. All of these things, trying to get me to drop out of this race. And I just felt the call of God in my life so strongly that I felt that I needed to see this thing through. And so when they announced that there was a possible redistricting, it was a secret thing at that time. It was before it's become this big thing like it is now. And, I'm thinking, I'm praying one night and I'm like, God, what's getting ready to happen? And I just kind of got this, be patient, right? And so I'm watching as this is going on, and I'm still getting the, don't run. It's plus 24 Democrats. You just give up. And I'm like, no, I'm, not listening to that. Now, with this redistricting, we're looking at plus 15 Republican. So there is nobody in this district dumb enough to put another Democrat in power. None. Because we're dealing with a lot of people pro-MAGA in this district. We're talking Pasadena, Deer Park, Galena, Channelview, Baytown. So, yeah, there are some that might vote Democrat, but they're not going to put in Al Green. They're definitely not going to. His job is he's going to have to probably run in District 18 with all the other 30 people.
I mean, it's really a testament towards your passion because you entered the race when it was essentially unwinnable.
Right.
And nobody else entered for that reason. But what you did without even knowing it, just following your own pursuits,
right.
You laid the foundation for success.
Absolutely.
And now in a primary position, I don't think anyone's going to, I think
they're going to try to jump in when they see it's more favorable to Republicans. But I think there's something like what you just said. There's something that should be noted here is that, I jumped in when it was insurmountable. Right. And then a lot of people, they don't have the fight. I was willing to fight Al in the trenches. I was willing to fight in the ditch.
They're jumping in when you've already spent 4 months out at all of the local mom and pop clubs, at the local school board meetings.
Right,
we've
been to the hood. We've been everywhere.
I saw you a video of you out on the street interviewing homeless people.
Right. Oh yeah.
So you've done all of this legwork. You're already 3 miles down the road, and if anyone jumps in on the Republican side, they're going to have a lot of room to make up.
Oh, absolutely, and it's almost offensive in my opinion because when the district incorporated the 3rd Ward and Sunnyside, I didn't see anybody, not even my current opponents that are running as Republicans right now, did not see them out there, talking to these people. Oh, it's not a big deal. They don't vote anyway. But see, here's the deal. We have an open primary. So we could be teaching, people that aren't really educated on how to vote, because they're going into their district, Democrat district. They're not going to go in there and ask for a Republican ballot. So we have to give them the confidence, energize them, boost them up, teach them how to do this because they have no idea how to vote for a Republican. None whatsoever. And so that's where, we're leveraging Urban Conservatives of America, our grassroots organization, to educate people that are typically Democrat voters on how to vote for a Republican. Honestly, they're going to be ostracized. When they walk into a mostly Democrat polling place, you've got, Christian Menifee people and all their little Democrat people all out there in the parking lot harassing them before they come in. Do you think they're going to walk in and say, I need a Republican ballot? No. Heck no, they're not. No, they're going to be too embarrassed. A lot of people don't speak up as it is. Somebody can see somebody being attacked on the street and they're scared to speak up.
Right.
So they're definitely not going to go in there and ask for a Republican ballot. So, that's kind of where we're at on this. And like I said, it would be offensive, in my opinion, to see somebody jump in, because it's the thing to do now.
Yeah.
Where were you at for District 9 and its constituents before all of this? You were nowhere to be found. You were there in your bubble bath enjoying some Cristal maybe.
Right.
While everybody else did the hard work. So.
Right. Joe, how have you been able to cross that divide? How have you been able to gain some support in our minority communities that are traditionally left-wing Democrats?
the first thing is to go talk to them.
Yep.
There's a lot of Republican candidates that do not go in the Northeast and the east side of town
Right.
where they're located.
Right.
And I do.
Right.
You go there, and it's very simple. You tell them your plan.
That's it.
How you're going to make their neighborhood safer.
Safe.
What you're going to do. How you're going to
And
organize.
they're receptive to it.
Exactly.
Because everybody wants safe
Exactly.
neighborhoods.
Yeah,
That's
because
exactly what they
we're
want.
told to just keep that idea to yourself. They're not gonna go there. But you're saying they are receptive to it.
They are.
Big time.
They are. You talk about safety of them and their families and their businesses. Yeah.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
listen.
Especially that money. You start talking about
Yeah.
the businesses.
But
Yeah.
they want to hear the content. They
Yes.
want to hear what you're really talking.
Yes.
How you're going to do it.
Yes.
And I tell them how I'm going to do it, and it makes sense. It goes back to common sense, as I mentioned. And they say, you know what, this guy's got a good idea.
He's got a plan. They trust you.
That's right. That's right. You have to build the trust.
You
That's
do.
right. But you don't make up something. You don't tell them what they want to hear.
Right.
You tell them what's right here.
Right.
Okay.
The real deal.
And that's what's there, and they like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. But it sounds like both of you are in really well positioned with your campaigns. I mean,
It's the
not done
authenticity.
till it's done. But what's that?
I think it's the authenticity because, people, I think they're done with the fake politician establishment stuff that you come in, you have this like persona that you
$1
put
million
on.
smile.
Right. They can like tell when you're putting on, right?
Yeah.
And it's an insult to their intelligence when you come in there with this big, presumptuous and arrogant attitude. It's not confidence. It's this phony persona, and they can see right through
Right.
it. But when you come in there, like you said, and speak from the heart, and you're passionate about what you're talking about, they're like, you really believe this, don't you? Like, they are looking at you like you're believing what you're saying. I believe with what you're saying. And then
Right.
they go along with it.
Yeah. So when I walked into the studio today, both of you hit me up with a story that I was completely unfamiliar with, but I guess that there was something that happened in the Harris County Commissioner's Court today. Is that right?
Yeah. A little
You
chaos.
want to tell me what happened?
I saw a very brief part of it. You take it over. Ms.
Well,
Butler.
it was extremely chaotic. It ended with Lena Hidalgo slamming her laptop and running out of the room scared for her life. But apparently she, we all found out today that $900,000 has been spent on her security detail over this past year. We also found out that she misappropriated COVID funds and put these funds into certain permanent programs. I mean, we knew COVID money was temporary. All of us knew it. We didn't have to be at high-ranking positions
I
to know
heard
this.
this already. They put
they put it into permanent programs that she created during COVID with COVID money.
Expecting the money to continue.
Expecting it to continue for some reason. And so now that these certain programs, like this child care program for children under 4 is closing, she brings all these kids as some emotional like appeal to the public, right? And it angered. It did the opposite of what
Right,
she expected
because she
to happen.
created the problem.
She created the problem.
Right.
She also tried to act like she was creating the solution as well, but she had no solution. Her solution was raise taxes again on the citizens of Harris County, and that is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. You can't even spend the little bit you get.
Right.
You're darn. We ain't
Yeah.
doing none of that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think we're in, the winds of change.
Yeah, we're
I
done.
think it's an incredible time. So, really, we went over a lot of the problems that we're in right now, and I do believe that the city's in a very dark state. I think that it's a very dangerous place today, and I think
Yes.
it's a very dangerous place for women.
Absolutely.
I think it's not good, and I certainly hope that new leadership comes into play because I believe that it is leadership that's going to change the day for us.
Changing
right?
of the guards.
And I think that the winds of change are in place, and I
Yes.
think people are ready for a seriously new breath of fresh air.
I agree.
So it'd be great. Yeah.
I agree, brother.
Well, listen, I thank you both for being on the show. It's been incredible learning about your career and about all your ideas on thoughts on the Harris County Sheriff's Department. And these new developments in your campaign are incredible and exciting. And I've said since the beginning, I said, get the popcorn out because it is election season in Texas, and it's going to be a show to remember. We're going to put on a show for the world to see in Texas,
agree.
and it's already happening right
It's
now.
happening.
So, yep.
You mind if I give my website real quick?
Please,
I
yes.
failed to do it earlier, and I'm going to get my butt chewed if I don't. AlexandriaButlerCampaign.org. You can donate. You can check out my platform, the issues I believe in, and you can definitely also pray for me as well. We have a lot of intercessors that do pray for us every single day. Pray for me, and please add Sheriff Joe Danna to your prayers too. He's a great guy. I love him.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I want
Did
to
you-
mention something about Fort
Please.
Bend.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have a lot of followers.
We
down
started
there.
in Fort Bend.
Yes.
When I talk to folks and they say, you know, Joe, I'd love to vote for you, but I don't live in Harris County or I'm not registered in Harris County. A lot of them say vote Fort Bend. And my reply is always the same. I'd rather have a prayer because it's more powerful than a vote. So if you just say a prayer for Joe Danna and his campaign, I'd appreciate it very
There you
much.
go, man. I like
and my
it a lot.
campaign, my website, I believe it said it, DannaForSheriff.com. DANNA, Danna for Sheriff.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Thank you both. And this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show. We will see you on Saturday with one more great show. Have a great week. Very good.